This is Mr. Van Kaplan. Today in Lesson 10, we're going to look at using the text feature. We've done this before, I think in Lesson 2 when we made the stop sign. We did some simple stuff. Today we're going to learn how to use a 3D text and do what's called an engrave and an emboss. So we want to start a new file. Make sure it's your standard in.ipt. Okay, hit your Start 2D sketch and then let's choose the XY plane. Okay, we're going to make a basic 3D cube like we've been using for the last few videos. That way it gives us multiple sides to work on. Let's dimension that to 6 inches on both sides. And then we want to extrude that as well. Let's do a symmetric. Stick with the theme, we'll go 6 inches. Okay. Go ahead and change the color. You can pick whatever color you like. And I'm going to go with a light red today. Now, we've got our cube here. 6 inches height, width, and depth, so we've got a 3D cube. Uh, let's learn how to use some of this 3D text. The first thing you need to do, go from sweep and change that to emboss. Okay, that's going to say that for later. We're going to emboss it. Right click on the top of the cube, choose that as your new sketch, and let's put some text on there. Okay, we're going to put a text box, and I'm going to type HCMS. Now you have to remember we've got a 6-inch cube, so if we make this 0.12, we're not going to see it very well. Let's go ahead and make it 1 inch. Let's see what happens. Okay, and that fits pretty good. The good thing with the text, you can always double click it and edit it. Okay, I like that size. One thing I didn't like the font, so we can go in and change that. And you can just pick one, choose some different ones and see what it looks like. I'm going to go with something a little bit different this time. Okay, now color, we would change that if we were doing a 2D text, but that's not what we're doing, so we're going to wait just a minute on that. So right click and hit Finish 2D Sketch. Okay, and now we're going to do an emboss. Okay, so you hit emboss, you click the shape, and it shows you what's going to happen. Okay, emboss is going to actually bring it out. In a minute we're going to look at engrave, and you can see it will kind of stamp it into the material. So let's stick with the emboss. Let's make it come out 0.25 inches, so a quarter of an inch. And now here's where you change the color. I don't want it to be black. I'm going to go with a smooth white for now. Let's hit OK and apply that. And you can see it has raised the letter up. Okay, if I hit top and look at the different views, you can see it has raised it out. One thing I want you to notice with the color, it just does the top part. Okay, it doesn't do the whole shape, the whole emboss. Okay, so that's an emboss. Let's hit the home screen and go back. Now on the front, let's make that a new sketch. And this time I want it to be a little bit more detailed. So I'm going to put a rectangle here. I'm going to dimension that to 4 inches. And also 4 inches here. Actually a square, I said a rectangle. Now I want to center it, okay? A good thing to do, project geometry so you can see this line and this line and this line. Okay, and it turns them yellow. So now let's dimension that from here to here. I want it to be 1 inch. Same thing on the bottom, and I think it should have done that for us, and it has. Okay, we can leave that dimension there. On the side, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. And sometimes Inventor does that. It's going to over constrain. We don't need that. It's moved it up. Okay. So again, we're going to dimension from this side to this side. Let's make that 1 inch. Now we have centered this text. It's 4 inches. Okay. And this is going to make this look a lot better. On the top we didn't center it. So now what we're going to do, we're done with the dimensions. We're going to put a text in there, and I'm going to actually trace this box as best as I can to where it's a 4x4. I'm going to make this really large, 3 inches, and I'm just going to type my first initial. Okay, it looks really big. Go ahead and highlight it, keep it 3 inches, and then center it. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so now we're done with that. Let's right click, finish 2D sketch. And the last time we did an emboss, this time we're going to engrave it. Okay, so click the letter, and this time switch it to engrave from face. We're going to keep it 0.25 inches. Let's make this one yellow, something that'll show up well. Hit OK, hit OK, and then now it got rid of that rectangle, but now it has engraved that, and you can look from the corners and see it has actually stamped it in there. Okay, we're going to do one more feature really quick while we're in here on the 3D text. Go to the right side, right click it, let's make a new sketch, and this time I want you to draw an arc. Make sure you're on the 3-point arc. Let's go left to right, and bring this up. Okay, so we've made an arc there. Instead of just regular text, we're going to do what's called geometry text. We click this line, this arc, and we're going to put our text above it. So we've done an initial. For this one, you can put anything you want to put. I'm just going to put Hornets for our local sports teams. Okay. Again, we're on a 6-inch block. Let's try 0.75 inches. Let's get a different type of font here. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. I do like to center everything. And let's hit OK and see how that looks. Okay. And as you can see, that's not on our cube. So we're going to double click that. We're going to highlight it, move it back to the left, see what that does. That's okay. Still don't like that. So now we're going to do something with this offset distance. Let's change that to 2 inches. Hit OK. Undo. Okay, the offset distance, keep that 0. That moves it off the arc. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do, we're just going to click in front of our text, space it over about 5 or 6 times, and this is going to be different according to the size of it. Hit OK, and that looks okay. I'd like it over a little bit more, so I'm going to click, space it 2 more times, then hit OK, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we can zoom in a little bit, and we're going to, we've done an emboss and we've done an engrave, so it doesn't really matter now. You choose how you want to do that. Okay, I'm going to emboss it, and I'm going to make it stick out. Okay, let's see if we can find a nice gray color. Light gray. Hit OK, and apply. And then the good thing, once you make it 3D, that arc it goes away. So now you can just see the shape has embossed it. And when you get to the high school, you all can make some things with a 3D printer. You know, you can make a bracelet or a little cube like this, and see some with some text that's either embossed or engraved, and you know it just makes it look a little bit neater. Okay, so this feature pretty cool. You can do a lot of different things with it. On these other faces, we've done the top, the front, and the right side. So what I want you to do, just practice. Go ahead and put something on the back, the left, and the bottom. Okay, before you finish this video, um, you just practice. You can put some letters or numbers just to practice doing that feature. Do some different types of text in different sizes, and then once you do that, do a file, save as. Let's name this Lesson 10, Mr. V, Lesson 10, 3D text. Okay? And remember, practice on the other sides. You should have something on each of the 6 faces of this cube. Okay, we've done 3. So I want you to do it as well. Practice 3 more. So you should have a letter or a number or some type of text on each face.